So my name is Julian Berry. I work as a climate and energy policy advisor for Brussels Environment, which is the administration for environment of the Brussels Capital Region. And basically what we do is that we design climate and energy plans within the Brussels Capital Region. In 2009, we have been creating the Job Environment Alliance. It's a dynamic governance between several actors who wants to develop their economic sectors, but in relations to the environment as well.
We are the Federation for the Construction Industry in Belgium, and my name is Hugues Kempeners, and I'm a manager on the Confederation Construction of Brussels area. We represent over 16,000 construction companies in Belgium. Well, in 2009 we had some election in Brussels, and the new government came and said, okay, we are now the black sheep of Europe with energy consumption in the building. For example, more than 60% of CO2 emission are delivered by the buildings, the existing building. So the new government said, okay, we have to do something. And they said, we want to be the leader in Europe in new construction, and we want that all new buildings will reach a really high standard for energy consumption. And so we were like, okay, what can we do to reach that? And with approximately 250 actors, we were thinking, and we've developed more than 60 actions. And what's quite important in this development, in this alliance, is the process. The process was not a typical top-down process. The alliance is the starting point to pass through the talking to the action. We had to go together in the same direction, and we had to go there with not leaving some people behind. We had to take a lot of them with us. So working with the union, it's quite important if you want to achieve those goals. The targets of the Alliance Emploi-Environnement, there were three. The first one was the companies, the construction companies. The second one was the workers. And the third one was the unemployed people in Brussels. If there had some markets, some new buildings we had to develop, and some companies had to hire some people, well, do that with your unemployed people in Brussels. And so we had to train the unemployed people to reach the demand of the companies. We've managed to hire approximately 1,500 people in Brussels and just in the Brussels area.
We are like an emanation of the Brussels government in a way, to work as a platform between the companies and the public side of things. We work mostly for the Brussels workers and workless people. So at the beginning of CDR construction, the main aspects was twofold. It was training in health and security or health and safety for the workers. But also we started working a bit about the sustainability of the construction field. It helps everybody because we have better workers, and so the building they build are more efficient and better and will be more sustainable in the coming years. Every year we see more than 1,000 people. That's for sure. And how long those people stay, it's changed because it depends of the type of training they are following by us.
I think the most important figure it's the finance, because some people says, oh yeah, you've done a great job in Brussels with delegation coming to through New York, Washington, Toronto to see what we've done, and they say, oh my God, that's nice, but that's quite expensive. No, the budget of the Alliance was for 23 million euro for 4 years. So it's not so expensive when you see that you have more than 65 actions. If you want to integrate legislation, a new obligation, well, the public sector has to do it first. Because it's one thing to say, I want that all my new buildings will be exceptional in terms of energy consumption, and you private sector will do it and you will pay for it. And it's another thing to say, okay, I want that, but I'm going to do it first. So it's quite important for the public sector to say, okay, I want an obligation, but I'm ready to do it first, before the private sector. And that's what we've made in Brussels, and that's quite working for the moment.
The Brussels Capital Region has been building a public partnership because we want to show exemplarity of public authorities within Brussels. So if I had to talk about the existing initiatives, we have two programs. The first one is Solar Click, which consists of equipping the roof of the public buildings within the Brussels Capital Region with solar panels. The second program is EnerClick, and what we do is that we provide tools for public building owners that will help them to measure and to assess the consumption of this building, so they can act to control and reduce the consumption of their buildings. This Job Environment Alliance changed in 2016 and became the PREC because there was a need for a more clear political guidance.
Okay, what's coming in Europe, and that was the circular economy. So we have to stop our linear economy, so create, consume waste, to shift it to a circular economy. And the building sector is one of the most important sectors in terms of using materials. And so how can we use less materials with a high standard quality of buildings? That is the question. And the PREC is trying to answer all of those questions.
What would be really great to see in the coming years is company trying more and more to not tear buildings down at all, but try to reuse at least the structure of those buildings, and also really take the time to deconstruct materials, especially materials that still have lots of potential. It's all about circular economy.
Transforming our economy is one of the major challenges we have in the Brussels Capital Region, and that's why we have put so much emphasis onto circular economy as a way to change our economy. So that's the first thing. And regarding the indirect emissions, what we did and what we still have to do is to assess and to launch a study in how we are going to take into account these emissions. But everything is linked. The more you develop circular economy into Brussels, then the lower you are going to have impact outside the territories with indirect emissions. Indirect emissions are the emissions that are emitted outside the territory of the Brussels Capital Region. So Brussels is a city, And as a city, it generates a lot of indirect emissions. For example, for our region, if we compare direct emissions to indirect emissions are 5 times higher than direct emissions. The thing we want to achieve is, if it's possible, to produce more within the territory of the Brussels capital region. So in our climate and energy plan, what we envision is that we would like to also have our own agricultural strategy, which will be part maybe of the sustainable food strategy. We want to grow more food within Brussels, but also to produce other goods inside Brussels, and to have, for example, a label of things that have been made in Brussels. Of course, the public-civic partnership is also very important for us, which is why we have 2 pillars in Brussels, which is HomeGrid and Le Réseau Habitat, so housing network in English. And what they do, actually, these are 2 associations that provides support for people who wants to renovate their house by providing information, also with all the benefits and all the bonus they can take. Then we also have developed a solar map. And with this solar map, you can concretely assess the potential in terms of solar production, in terms of energy production, to install a solar panel on your roof. Of course, we need to pay attention in this transition to lower and average income. And it's particularly reflected by the retrofitting strategy that this shall be also the reflect of the social policy of the region. Which is why we will pay attention and we will direct funding assistance directly to average and lower income households.
Ich heiße Julie Bindels, ich bin Architektin und ich arbeite für HomeGrid. HomeGrid ist eine regionale Gesellschaft, die gratis Informationen rund ums Wohnen gibt. Wir geben zum Beispiel Informationen über Renovierungsarbeiten, die Prämien, die dazugehören, und wir helfen auch den Leuten, die Anfrage einzureichen und auch die Arbeiten zu verstehen, die sie halt bei sich zu Hause ausführen. Also hier in Brüssel gibt es verschiedene Prämien. Es gibt zum Beispiel die Renovierungsprämien. Die sind für verschiedene Energiearbeiten da, wie zum Beispiel Isolierung von Dächern oder von Fassaden, aber auch für die Erneuerung von einem Badezimmer zum Beispiel. Dann gibt es die Energieprämien. Die sind wirklich da nur für Energiearbeiten, also alles, was mit Isolation zu tun hat, und auch mit der Heizung. Wenn man zum Beispiel den Heizkessel ersetzt, dann bekommt man auch eine Prämie. Die Prämien sind immer in den beiden Fällen folgend den Einkommen. Also jemand, der weniger Einkommen hat, hat Anrecht auf ein wenig mehr Prämien. Und es gibt auch einen Energiekredit, den man für all die Energiearbeiten anfragen kann. Also dieser Kredit kann ein 0% Kredit sein. Für zum Beispiel, wenn man das Dach isolieren möchte, das Geld nicht dafür hat, kann man den Kredit anfragen. Und das ist natürlich auch folgendes Einkommen. Wenn man zu viel Einkommen hat, dann hat man halt kein Anrecht auf diesen Kredit. Und wenn man weniger Einkommen hat, dann hat man halt Anrecht auf einen 0% oder 1% Kredit. Also wenn die Leute zu uns kommen bei HomeGrade, die kommen dann meistens mit einem Kostenvoranschlag oder erklären uns, was für Arbeiten sie machen möchten. Und dann können wir denen halt erklären, für welche Arbeiten genau sie Prämien bekommen können. Und wir erklären dann, wie sie die Prämie einreichen können und was für Papiere sie halt sich besorgen müssen, um die Prämie anzufragen und wie das alles funktioniert.
Retrofitting strategy aims to achieve, let's say, an efficient building stock in 2050 and to impose an obligation to retrofit to building owners. So in 2050 we aim for neutrality, and for that we need a shared vision in our society, and which is why we are going to launch a very wide public debate in order to reach this common perception and common vision for our future.
If there's one idea I would really like other people to see or to improve the way they work and or to be more sustainable is to see a new building in two different ways. By saying, okay, I agree to pay a bit more for the materials and by recycling or rebuilding with used material and stuff like that, but to see, okay, maybe my building is going to cost a bit more, but that cost is human cost, and it means it's local economy. It means maybe I'll pay a bit more for my building, but I'll improve the sustainability of my building. It's gonna weight less heavily on the environment.
You want to achieve some goal to improve your environmental impact on your municipality and so on. Fix the objective, but then or before go and check with the people working on the site to see, once, if the objective is realistic, and two, how can we together go to this direction.